What's going on, folks, and welcome to the first episode of Versus. Now, what is Versus? You're at home and you're thinking, this is my favorite rapper. I like this guy better than this guy. But sometimes you don't really know why. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break every rapper down category by category, and I'm gonna tell you why specifically I feel like this rapper is better than this rapper. So each week I'm gonna give you guys the opportunity to take my formula, come up with your own numbers, and put it in the comments below. I'm gonna pool everybody's numbers and give you guys the final input as to who the overall winner is in the next episode. These categories are rhyme patterns, wordplay, lyrical content, voice, delivery, adaptability, catalog, album sales, and mass appeal. Each category is in a score of 1 to 10 other than album sales. With album sales, I award 2 points to the winner. Loser gets 0. That way you get credit for selling more albums, but that's not the end of the world. Because let's face it, just because you sell more records doesn't mean you're the better MC. You guys got it? Good, let's get it started. So this week, we got a big one. Started off with a bang, buddy. The two heavyweights in the game. Jay-Z versus Nas. For rhyme patterns, I give Nas the edge. 9.1 versus Jay-Z with an 8.9. Pretty much Nas makes his bread and butter off of his rhyme patterns. The only reason why I didn't give him much higher is though he has a lot of tricks in his sleeve as far as his rhyme patterns are, I've heard people who actually do have more patterns up their sleeve. He's very versatile when it comes to his rhyme patterns. Knows how to bounce around the beat, but to be honest, I think that could improve a little bit for him too. If he branches out a little bit more and tries to experiment with a little bit different rhyme patterns, I mean, sky's the limit with that guy. Wordplay, I give Nas an 8.6 and Jay-Z a 9. If you listen to his verses, a lot of what Jay-Z says has a double meaning to it. Jay-Z is one smart dude and he likes to showcase it a lot. So to the common average listener, it might sound like he's saying one thing, but a lot of times he's saying more than you think. And so for that, I give him the edge in that. But Nas is very deep as well. We all know that. Doesn't use wordplay as much as Jay-Z, but a lot of his things have double meanings to it too. Lyrical content, Nas 9.2, Jay-Z 7.8. When it comes to lyrical content, man, it's really no competition. Listen to a Jay-Z record, you pretty much know what to expect as far as what he's going to talk about. But he's so smart and good at it that it sometimes feels like he's talking about a multiple range of topics when he really isn't. Whereas Nas is all over the place in a good way. He can talk about politics in one song, he can talk about drugs in another song, he can talk about getting money, he can talk about the environment, he can talk about being who you want to be. I mean, the guy is very versatile. He's a lyrical genius and a poet, and he is incredible at that. Voice, Jay-Z 8.9, Nas 7.6. Alright, this is just my personal preference. I like Jay-Z's voice better. Nas, I think that's probably one of the reasons that kind of brings me down on Nas a little bit. His voice is good, and you know, when he flows on certain things, comes across great. But Nas, his voice is not very harsh. It's pretty smooth, which is good with what he does. But Jay-Z's voice can be a lot more versatile. He can do some smooth stuff. He can be pretty hard when he tries. Sometimes he does sound a little bit lazy, but let's face it, man, Jay-Z has a great voice, and that's part of the reason why when he raps with other people, his voice tends to stand out. Hate him or love him, when you hear a Jay-Z song, you pay attention. So I give Jay-Z an edge. Delivery, Jay-Z 9.1, Nas 8.6. I know you guys might kill me on this one, but honestly, being a rapper, I listen to the nuances of a lot of people's delivery, and as much as I do love Nas and he's a great MC and I don't want to bash him, sometimes his delivery does slip. If you really listen to some of his lyrics, he can kind of slur over words a little bit, especially when he's trying to rap faster. Sometimes he can fall slightly off course when it comes to his delivery. When he's on though, kills it. Probably nobody does it better. But when he's off, especially before Jay-Z kind of shook him up with the whole takeover thing, you know, he kind of relaxed a little bit, and that's the reason why I kind of had to dock him a little bit. Now, I've docked Jay-Z a little bit too, because as Jay-Z gets older, his delivery is kind of slowing down. But when Jay-Z was at his prime, his delivery was crazy, and so I give him the edge on that. Adaptability, Jay-Z 9.2, Nas 8.4. Let's be real, Nas doesn't really adapt as well as Jay-Z when it comes to music, and that's part of the reason why Jay-Z is a little bit more successful overall. Nas is incredible with what he does. He's incredible in his element. Jay-Z has been in the game for a long time and he has adapted pretty well, and that's the reason why he stayed top of the game. Jay-Z is a lot more commercial than Nas, and so his adaptability allows him to survive and thrive, where Nas, even though he has his core fan base, has never really been able to fully break out of that. Catalog, Jay-Z 9.4, Nas 8.8. They both have incredible catalogs. Jay-Z though, when it came down to it, I feel like Jay-Z has more hits. Nas has a lot of great records, but not a lot of hits, to be honest. Because Jay-Z has more hits and he has a huge catalog, just as far as number of songs and albums that he's done, I have to give Jay-Z the advantage in this category. Album sales are always a little bit sketchy because the numbers are always flux. From the research I've done, Jay-Z is supposed to have over 50 million worldwide. Nas is supposed to have around 25 or more worldwide. Depending on what site you see, that kind of fluctuates here and there, but pretty much every site that I've looked up, Jay-Z is almost double. I guess I have to give it credit, even though I don't really care, but I give Jay-Z the 2-point conversion on this one. Mass appeal, Jay-Z 9.5, Nas 7.2. At the end of the day, it comes down to how popular you are. And while Nas is incredibly popular in his core, in fact, I say probably the real underground heads and the real hip hop heads probably love Nas more than they love Jay-Z. I mean, let's face it, man, Jay-Z for the longest time held the throne in hip hop and is known worldwide by people who are actively strong hip hop listeners, and those who are casual listeners, and those who maybe wouldn't even listen to hip hop if it wasn't for Jay-Z. So just by that, come on, I guess I have to give Jay-Z the edge on that one. So with my review, when all the numbers are crunched and calculated, Jay-Z has a total of 71.8, Nas has a total of 67.5, and with Jay-Z's 2-point conversion on the album sales, that brings him to 73.8, making him the winner in our first edition of Versus. Now I leave it all up to you. I know some of you might be happy, some of you might be pissed at me, and that's cool, man. I invite you all. What do you think? Evaluate it. Let me know. You can go by my sheet, or you can just tell me just in general who you think is better. But I give you credit if you go by my score chart, and I might even give you a shout out in the next episode. So let's do it. This is your boy Diggy, and this has been the first episode of Versus. See us next time. We will take 2 more incredible MCs and pat them together, man. Arr. Peace. Flip side.